Hey everyone, welcome to the Paint Log. My name's Keith, and today we're going to talk about my hobby progress this week. I have a little bit of a different episode for everyone this week, but let's start with something familiar, and that is painting up some more Zombicide zombies. I painted up 3 more walkers, and this actually completes this base set bottle type. There are 8 of each sculpt, that's the word I'm looking for. But there are 8 of each sculpt, and so at the end I have a picture of all 8 of them. And now we get to the strange part. I am running a one-shot D&D adventure for some friends from work, and we are making characters tomorrow at lunch. And as the DM, it is my job to provide them with what the adventure is and some different ideas of how they can make characters and if they want to fit into the small little story or whatnot. And I have some great ideas for that, but I have run out of time, and I need to type that up. So there may be a lighting change here in a second, but don't worry, I'll be right back, and we will read some lore. Told you there would be a lighting change, but what was for you 2 seconds was for me about an hour. So I finished typing it up. Let's get into it. Here we have a conversation between a dwarf and a human while drinking in the Golden Pig. This is a pub in the setting, and it's just meant to be a little bit of world building for my players. So we'll start it off with, "Say Hop." "Yeah, Grunky. Why do they call you Hop?" The aged carter rubbed his brow before lifting his gaze to meet that of his dwarven companions. Hop had lost count of how often Grunky asked this question, but it was the second time tonight, and Hop's nerves were already stretched thin. Grunky was already nursing his 5th pint, however, so Hop indulged his friend. "Because of how I load my carts. I've always said Hammer Hall is full of 2 things, dirt and donkey shit, and I happen to take pride in the shine of my boots." Hop leaned back in his chair and placed his boots on the table for Grunky to admire. "That's not very nice," Grunky replied, slurring the first and last words while ignoring Hop's boots. He downed what remained of his ale before crossing his arms and placing his head down to stare at the ground. "I would be mining aether quartz right now if that damn comet hadn't shown up." The weird flame comet. Hop's nerves were back. Even now, the memory of those magenta flames flickering against the night sky sent a shiver down his spine. Worse yet, Grunstock caught whiff of a motherload of crystals scattered around the impact site, and as everyone in Hammerhall knows, what Grunstock Hold wants, it gets. The dwarven Holdfast was known for being ruthlessly efficient. After news of the crystals reached Hammerhall via Gossamer scouts, Grunstock sent out their own to collect samples for cost analysis. Hop scoffed at the thought. The dwarves may try to sound refined, but Hop had spent enough time drinking with Grunky to read between the lines. A Grunstock cost analysis was better translated as, "How much money is this going to make us?" 2 days ago, the survey crew returned atop their mules, bags bursting at the seams with incandescent shards of polished stones. But the dwarves were keen to hoard the riches to themselves. Even old Grunstock came out of the mines to personally oversee the crystals were safely secured within the Grunstock vaults. Then a town council was called. Meanwhile, the carters, smart enough to hide some spare crystals, began circulating around the taverns. We'll adjust that on the fly. There's a couple things I noted. Around the taverns of Hammerhall. All for the right price, of course. Hop even got to hold one for a second before a Grunstock dwarf ripped it from his grasp. The crystal radiated light, casting a magenta glow across his face. It made Hop feel uneasy, like something was inside the crystal looking out, and he was glad when the dwarf snatched it. But things quickly took a turn for the worse after the town hall. Yesterday, Havel, the Grunstock foreman, announced a plan to send a mining crew to the comet. And of course, they would need carters to haul back their precious rocks. And of course, Hop's name was first picked. Grunky's name was picked too as part of the mining crew. Hop took a little solace in that, though the dwarf did not take the news well when he returned from his shift at the mine. Grunky was not a native to Hammerhall, his black beard betraying him as an outsider. Nevertheless, the cold looks of the Grunstock dwarves did not seem to bother Grunky one bit. He only cared for aether quartz. Hop was certain of it, though Grunky seemed to take a liking to Hop. They had been drinking brothers for a long time. The thought brought Hop out of his head and back to the conversation with his friend. You're right, Grunky, and I'm sorry. I'd take Hammerhall over a night in the Everdale any day. I'm going to miss the mine, Hop, Grunky replied melancholily. It's not going anywhere, I promise. I wish I could take you down there. If you just saw how the Aether quartz shined against the granite, I bet you would be as obsessed as I am. Grunky held his round stomach and let out a gale of laughter, his sadness apparently forgotten. He finished laughing with a loud belch. I've had enough of shiny stones, thank you, Hop said. Well, I'm not going to spend my last night in Hammerhall mopping about. I've decided if Grunstock wants me for their little side project, he's going to get me at my very best. Grunky turned his head to the host, clearing mugs from a nearby table. S8, 2 more pints. One for me and one for my friend. Come now, Hop, and drink with me. Let us make certain we do not remember our trek through the Everdale tomorrow. Who am I to turn down a friend's hospitality, Hop said, smiling. Perhaps it would help him sleep. I like it. So there you have it, like lore story time for the one shot that I'm going to be running. I don't know, I'm weird. I like to do things like this. This is part of my hobby time too. There we go, tying it into the video and not me just wanting to share something I'm proud of. Who knows? Thank you for sticking around if you stuck around this far. Hit that like button if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below of all of my terrible editing, spelling mistakes, anything that you see in the story that I share. And if you really like this, I do a video every Thursday. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you stay up to date. And remember, I'm Keith, this has been The Paint Log, and I will see you all next time. Bye!